This is one of the most viral formats on YouTube right now. They have less than 20 episodes, but already more than 100 million views. And it's crazy how simple this format is.
This is the Surrounded series by Jubilee, and it actually follows a 3-part recipe. So if you're looking for your signature format on YouTube, you gotta study this series.
Real quick, I'm Mike. This is my little brother, Maddie. We're both former medical doctors, and we became YouTubers. We were a channel to over 1 million subs. In this series, we break down the most viral formats that are overperforming right now, figure out why it works so that you can also use it in your content.
So Jubilee didn't invent online debates, but they took it in a way that no one else was doing, and that's why it's so sensational. For example, we'll talk about one of the most recent videos. It's the vaxxers versus anti-vaxxers, right? And just thinking about who's a vaxxer versus anti-vaxxer, you might come up with someone in your mind. But what they did that's really genius is they picked a celebrity and they made that the verses. So it's not like anti-vaxxers, it's Dr. Mike.
It's an authority figure.
It's an authority figure, and it's much more clear about, this is what a pro-vaxxer looks like. And so it creates this natural polarity, and you can like really get behind the other person that's debating.
Yeah, exactly. So they were very topic focused for a long time. It was videos like Republicans versus Democrats, cops versus criminals, married versus divorce, right? And on both sides of the aisle, it was just people that we didn't know. But when you bring in an authority figure, there's a lot of weight to what they're saying, and the viewer is more intrigued to watch because, oh, this is a debate that's happening at the highest level.
And not to say like those videos you talked about, they still did pretty well. But in comparison to the one we just talked about, like Dr. Mike one, or the Jordan Peterson one that came out recently, all the ones around the election, the 2024 election, those ones got like 5, 6, 7 million views.
And just zooming out here, especially if you're in the education niche, you want to try to bring authority into your videos, whether it's your guests or it's yourself. If you've been through things and you have credentials or licensing or a lot of experience and you are the authority, try to always bring that out.
There's personal authority, which you can do. Look for external authority. So this is what Jubilee does.
Yeah.
They pull an external authority, like for other influencers, other famous people. I watched the Dr. Mike response video. Everyone was calling him overweight.
Yeah.
And then he made a response video to it. He actually said in that video that he reached out to Jubilee.
I was watching Jubilee and saw a 20 verse 1 episode, and I said, wow, wouldn't it be a good idea if it was a doctor versus anti-vaxxer? So I had Sam shoot them an email and recommend the idea for an episode and actually volunteer to be the one in the middle.
He wanted to do the video. And so by them having done this format enough times, it actually attracted other really good talent.
This works really well for debate format because there's a lot of fact checking that needs to go on. And when you bring on people who like don't really know what they're talking about or like just really driven by emotion, the fact checking can get really out of hand. When you bring an authority figure who's very well learned, been in the field for a long time and they've seen things, this just gives it so much more credibility.
Extra bonus points if they're also good on camera. So let's just break down like what are some personal things, like just to make it more clear what personal authority is. Like, so credentials. Something that's not credentials is experience. You don't need to have like a marketing degree to prove that you know how to grow a brand's marketing. If you can get a lot of views on YouTube, you don't need a degree for it. So the experience is also really important to it.
So this is all great, right? Having authority in your videos is so powerful, but there's actually another way that you can leverage the authority figure, right? Because the people that we named, Dr. Mike, Jordan Peterson, what they bring to the table is their entire audience. Because you were saying how Dr. Mike did the reaction video to
brought more traffic to
exactly. So he blasted that to his audience. He has like 10 million on YouTube or something, and many, many more millions on every other social platform. He just starts the conversation with his audience, and everyone now is watching that.
Everyone gets curious about what is he talking about, and they just keep driving. It's like this flywheel.
Exactly.
They just keep coming back to Jubilee.
All right, real quick before we go on, if you're enjoying this breakdown, we write a weekly newsletter called Director's Cut. It's where we study and share what's actually working on YouTube right now, the strategy breakdowns, storytelling structures, and all the lessons we got from running real YouTube channels for 7- and 8-figure brands. If you want to grow smarter and stay ahead of the curve, there's a link to sign up below. So definitely you want to leverage the audience of your guest. And that is what we call having unique access. I mean, access can be really thought about in 2 ways. The first way we just talked about, like having access to their audience. But the second access is actually Jubilee having access to all these authority figures.
Yeah.
If you are a brand that has this network, then you definitely want to tap into it and leverage that in your content.
Yeah, if you're Jason's team and you have like Dr. Mike on speed dial, or in your phone, you just have the contacts of all these famous celebrities, you'll be dumb not to try to leverage them in your content, right?
Yeah, but imagine like Dr. Mike approached them. So that is the unfair advantage they have for access. Access to audience and access to guests. Both of these are network access that you can tap into. So we got authority, we got access. I think the third pillar of this format is actually the most powerful one. And this one is different because it speaks to a different part of the brain. Authority, it speaks to our logical brain, it uses facts, credibility, but this one speaks to our emotional brain.
And I think it does that because just by looking at the thumbnail and title, the package of the YouTube video, it does something which I think creates emotion no matter what.
Yeah.
And that is that it adds this thing. It creates tension.
So pretend you're scrolling through your feed and you see a video that looks like this. You instantly know what the whole concept of the video is. You already see there's already tension between the person sitting in the middle and the people on the outside surrounding them. This person in the middle, you already feel for them. They are in the underdog position. Can this person survive this onslaught of all these disagreeers?
Yeah.
Right? So you feel for them. And then if you turn this person into an authority and a face that you recognize, that's even more powerful. It really gets the emotional buy-in of the viewer, right? Like right when you see this thumbnail, in my head, I'm already picking sides.
Yeah.
Right, I'm already picking like, I'm gonna be on this person's side.
And I think Jubilee actually they did a pretty good job of this back during like the 2024 election, where from a brand perspective, they didn't pick sides. As in, I remember they did one video that was like, 1 Democrat versus 20 Republicans. And then like the next video was the opposite. They wanted to make both sides feel what it would be like to be in the middle.
But also when you put a person in this position, they are stressed, adrenaline is pumping. This person is fending for their life.
Yeah.
And so you know they're gonna bring their best arguments. Like this is a person in fight or flight mode. So you know it's gonna be a good debate.
And of course, like, on the side with a lot of people, you have people out there who are just trying to get their word in and make them upset. You have some trolls out there who are just there for the fun. Like this format, the tension creates polarity. So people want to pick sides, but then it also gives room for people to be like, ooh, I just want to lurk. I just want to be part of the conversation and just have my popcorn and just read the comments.
Yeah.
This last pillar, I guess we should just rename it now to what it actually is. This one is, we call it authenticity. One of the pillars of authenticity, as we talked about, is tension. So normally when you create content that is very authentic to yourself, you are going to create haters. You are going to create opposition, right? Because you want to take a stance on something. So it's going to create tension because people are not going to agree with you. But on the other side of tension, you're also going to create connection, right? And I think this is probably one of the most important things for brands is if you want to build a loyal following, you want to make people feel like they relate to your story.
Yeah, they resonate.
They resonate with you. They're gonna come back because they really liked the message and they like what you stood for.
And they can see themselves as one of the people in the video.
Obviously, both of these contributes to comments, which is very useful.
And a community.
Community and comments.
Community, just spreading the word.
I think another way that Jubilee, like zooming out from like how this all looks like, the way they actually executed their content, we can't deny that they also have a killer media team. Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They have good camera angles, they have good storytelling, they have good writing, they have good questions, and they do a really, really phenomenal job of showing emotions. Whoever's on their editing team is cracked. Like they're so good.
Yeah.
They are the masters of the cut. And also like they bring in the authenticity at the end of the videos also, because after the debate, they always do like this highlight reel of like the debrief, the confessionals. It's like, how did you think the interview went? All the people there will get to speak their own thoughts. I think this is why like reality TV shows do so well. They always have some confessionals of their internal thoughts. And then you also get to see the actual interactions of like what they're actually reflecting on. And so that all again adds more tension and it builds more connection. Because people are gonna be like, oh, I really hated that person because of what they said. Or they really liked that person.
Yeah, so having these 3 pillars really elevates Jubilee as a brand. And that's what you want for your signature format, something that elevates your brand. So if you think about Jubilee, like their mission, their goal is to put people in very uncomfortable situations, get them to disagree, so that they can find common ground. And so this format perfectly captures that, creates tension, it creates disagreement, but ultimately people come to common ground.
Yeah, and it's just super entertaining.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I think a lot of brands, like the reason that we created this kind of visual framework for it is that they focus too much on just one of these things. But it's like when you have multiple, when you have just like authority and access, already like the reach you can get skyrockets. But when you put all three of them together, that is how you become memorable. So to kind of just wrap everything up here, how would you categorize this format?
Probably a mixture of multiple categories. I would say your take is one of them. It's probably like your take plus interview plus games. Because there's like actual rules, there's like a buzzer, there's one hot seat, but you're getting the hot take of the authority figure, and it's a debate.
And I like what you did there, because the most viral or the most memorable formats are usually not just like one thing. It's usually a combination of multiple things based on understanding what is the authenticity that you have, what kind of unique access you have, what's your authority that you bring. That creates your unfair advantage.
Yep.
And with your unfair advantage in mind, you can decide on which format works best for your signature.
It's gonna mix and match and find the most unique, most uncopyable version of that combo.
Yeah, so if you're looking for your signature format, we definitely recommend doing something like this, drawing it out, maybe even with your brother or someone on your team to get the ideas flowing.
So once you've mapped out all of your unfair advantages, the next step is to match it to a format or format combination. And if you're interested, we've made a video explaining every single format on YouTube. You can check it out right here.